Speaking of which, uh, apparently they don't make Teslas like they used to. They don't make Teslas like they used to. Look at that. I just Googled Tesla Cybertruck. And the price of the Cybertruck is about 80 grand. But next to it is Cybertruck filled with fuel and fireworks explodes at Trump's Las Vegas hotel. Now, here's the thing, right? You see the headline. Cybertruck filled fuel with fireworks explodes at Trump's Las Vegas hotel. Now, what did I tell y'all about that Kim Kardashian video? I said specifically, we're going to see things. It's almost like the Pac line. There's some stuff you're going to see is going to make it hard to smile in the future. We literally saw that video lining up with everything that's going to be happening. Yeah, I thought it was Elon. I'm thinking it's Elon because he want to say it's not. Now he tweeted. Now here's the thing, right? I'm just being joking when I say it's Elon because he did tweet and apparently it doesn't look like it was him. It does not look like it was him. Somebody tried to make it look like it was him, but it definitely wasn't him. From the tweets that I read of him responding to it, it wasn't. But in the Kim Kardashian video, right, they literally were showing you different things that were going to be happening throughout the year of 2025 and the coming future. So, anyone mentioned Pootie Tang? No, we didn't. Princess Sherry, what's going on? No, nobody mentioned Pootie Tang. Eve's bio was a good one. Yes, the year is only beginning. The year is only beginning right now. And fireworks, right? Now, this could be early in the game, but when I saw the word fireworks inside the Tesla truck, the first thing I thought of again was the Santa Baby video when I saw fireworks. And I said, oh, 3 knocks of death holding the firework. I said, oh, maybe they telling us something early. So I said, wait a minute. I had to start skimming through the video. I was like, was there somebody in a wheelchair in this video? Was it? And I had to start looking for different things that started pertaining to what was going on right now. Now, one first thing I thought about. Now, the ISIS truck, well, not the ISIS truck. I don't know why my brain is already saying ISIS truck, but the truck in New Orleans, we're going to be talking about in a second. Cybertruck filled with fuel and fireworks explodes at Trump's Las Vegas hotel. Is there an ad here?
A 2024 Tesla Cybertruck pulled into the area valet of the Trump International Hotel. We saw what looked like maybe some sort of smoke, and then the truck exploded.
I just heard a boom.
Oh my God. I heard that boom too, but I didn't know it was actually outside.
But it looks like something is continuing to burn.
On fire,
yeah, and the smoke is getting blacker.
Once the fire went out through the suppression efforts of the fire department, you'll see some of the evidence in the back of the vehicle. So those are gasoline canisters. They are camp fuel canisters and large firework mortars.
So, why would somebody have fireworks just sitting there in the back of a Cybertruck? And they said it was a bomb also. They said it was fuel and fireworks. Somebody said it was a bomb actually up in there. But really it was just the fireworks that, of course, if you have like an M80 or something, an M80 going to sound like an actual goddamn bomb, if you know what I'm talking about. Niggas used to put M80s in the payphones. So, police are investigating after a Tesla Cybertruck filled with fuel canisters and firework mortars exploded outside the Trump Hotel in Las Vegas, Nevada. The driver was killed and 7 people were injured. Police said without naming any of the individuals involved. Officials said all injuries were minor. The truck was rented in Colorado and arrived in the city Wednesday morning. less than 2 hours before the detonation. Police said. Parked in front of the hotel near a glass entrance, the vehicle started to smoke, then exploded. Now, again, that's a detail right there. Parked in front of the glass entrance. Whoever put that vehicle in front of there knew that that explosion was going to spread. Take note there. In an evening address, President Joe Biden said the White House was tracking the incident and law enforcement was investigating whether there's any possible connection with the attack in New Orleans, which left 15 dead early on New Year's Day. In an afternoon press conference, Sheriff Kevin McCahill showed dramatic footage of the explosion and photos of the aftermath, including several fuel canisters along with large fireworks in the truck bed. Footage showed the truck parked directly in front of the entrance of the hotel. The truck sits idle for several seconds before exploding. Bursts of multicolored fireworks shooting in multiple directions. Another video showed investigators using a black fire retardant tarp to put out the blaze in the charred remains of the truck bed. An array of gas and fuel canisters were left behind along with the remains of more than a dozen firework mortars. The fire occurred around 8:40, just hours after a man had drove a truck with an Islamic State IS group flag into the crowd in New Orleans. I like how they tried to they tried to align that into the same sentence. Just hours after the man drove a truck with an Islamic State group flag in the crowd in New Orleans. At least 15 people died and dozens were injured. Now, I'm no brain scientist, right? But part of me thought of this, right? What if it isn't Elon trying to send Trump a message? What if they're trying to say that they're going to try to assassinate one of those two? I'm just saying. What if they're literally trying to say that one of those two is about to get offed? That's just my hops. That's just my hops, okay? Mr. McCahill of the Las Vegas Police Department said the authorities were examining whether the incident could be connected to the one in New Orleans where improvised explosive devices were found near the scene. He said they were also investigating whether it might be linked to President-elect Donald Trump, who owns the hotel, or Elon Musk, who owns the Tesla. Obviously, Cybertruck, the Trump hotel, there's lots of questions that we have to answer as we move forward. Exactly. So Cybertruck, Trump hotel, you're already thinking it's like, all right, why is that like, why is it so like Riddler-like? A Tesla truck, and you know those two are pretty much buddies. Or you also see that, Elon has been giving Trump hell over the past couple of weeks as well. In the sense, he's kind of changed his mind, but not changed his mind. But then you see them partying and being on private jets together. It's a weird bromance bullshit going on. I'll play that video in just a second. Anyway, the FBI also said that the agency was looking into whether the incident might be an act of terrorism, but the authorities said that they currently had not confirmed the identity of the driver who died in the vehicle. Authorities also said thus far they had found no evidence that this incident was related to ISIS, but they actually have found the evidence. The idea the guy that died in the vehicle. We'll get to that in just a minute. I know everybody's interested in that word and trying to see if we can say, hey, this is a terrorist attack. That is our goal, and that's what we're trying to do. The FBI special agent in charge, Jeremy Schwartz, told reporters at a news conference the sheriff noted that both vehicles appeared to be rented from Turo, an app-based car rental company. Now, I've tried to rent a car off of Turo. It's actually very fucking simple. You literally pay, you go pick it up, and you drive the fuck off. That's literally that's literally it. And it's more so people. It's regular people that you rent the car from. So it's not like a Hertz. It's not like an Enterprise or anything like that. It's literally you're renting the car from an individual. Okay, you are renting the car from a person. You electronically send them money. You go pick the car up. You meet them. You drive the fuck off. It is that simple. You pay for a certain amount of days. You bring the fucking car back. You're already paying in advance for the car that you have. So that's another key thing too. It's not like if a nigga really wanted to steal your shit, he could just drive the fuck off. But of course, your information is tracked through electronically. Of course, your information is still tracked now. But there can be a situation where someone just uses a fake ID, of course, or a fake name, get the goddamn car, and you still don't even know who you bought that bitch from. You don't know if you bought it from Jane Doe or John Doe. Okay, that can still happen. But again, that is the Toro app itself. I'm pretty sure after this particular situation here happens, they're going to be cracking down and pretty much making a little bit more restricted as far as who can rent vehicles, what time you can have them, so on and so forth. A little bit more of a cracking down on the actual due diligences of how you can actually access these vehicles. Registration, identity, things like that, they have to be fully verified before this person can rent the vehicle. It shouldn't just be a nigga who just flash his ID number, just ran up a regular ID number, and then you just there. I would definitely like to see some type of new verification process after this type of thing happens. A Turo spokesperson said in a statement that the company was working with the authorities in Las Vegas and New Orleans to help with the investigation. The spokesperson noted both renters appeared to not have a criminal background that would have identified them as a security threat. We are heartbroken by the violence perpetrated in New Orleans and Las Vegas, and our prayers are with the victims and families, the statement reads. The authorities say that they do have the name of the person who rented the vehicle, but have not officially confirmed it was a person driving the vehicle. As you can imagine, with an explosion here on an iconic Las Vegas boulevard, we are taking all of the precautions that we need to take to keep our community safe, he said during a news conference. Mr. McCall said there was no longer a threat to Las Vegas community. Now, I do want to play the clip of the news briefing of how they're actually trying to treat it like it's some ISIS situation. I don't know why they're trying to treat it like it's an ISIS situation, though. That's just my whole thing.
Las Vegas law enforcement, they briefed a moment ago saying that they don't have a lot of answers yet on what this was. It was around 8:40 this morning. This call came in of an explosion at the Trump Tower Hotel. They know a Cybertruck pulled up right to the glass entrance doors. Smoke started coming from the vehicle, and then it exploded. Now, they don't know if this was intentional. They don't know if it was something wrong with the vehicle or something that was in the vehicle. The sheriff saying that they believe everything is safe at this point, but they're looking for if it was malicious, what the intention was. They don't know any of that yet, Diane.
And they say they're treating it as an intentional criminal act in the meantime. So what does that do for the investigation, Alex?
Well, they say based on what's going on in New Orleans that they have to begin looking at it that way, not knowing what this was. They've got injured 7 bystanders that have minor injuries. They are taking this slow, but the sheriff saying we don't know what we don't know, but saying that they do believe that the threat is over and that the community is now safe. The FBI is part of the investigation, is looking into it. They are trying to understand what the incident was or was not, but the indicators are there of a vehicle pulling up, smoke begins to come out of it, and then an explosion. The person inside the vehicle was killed. They don't know if it was a male or a female yet, but a lot they still have to figure out.
And Josh Margolin, who's also following the story for us. Josh, they also say they are looking at this as a possible act of terror. What does that tell you?
It says, like Alex said, that the sheriff says they don't know what they don't know. They know this, whatever happened was intentional. The truck didn't just explode because of some sort of malfunction or something on the street. The driver took the Cybertruck up into the valet port in front of the hotel, and they started seeing some smoke, and then it exploded. Apparently, this is according to law enforcement sources that we're talking to, there were some fireworks-style mortars in the truck. Now, the question is, were they set off intentionally at the hotel? Were they set off or were they lit so that they would go off somewhere else? That really is the key thing, and they're working to find out who the driver was, what the motive might be, because that's obviously the key. But this was not an accident in their mind, and that's why they're saying possible criminal act, possible act of terror, it gives law enforcement the full array of legal authority to do a full investigation so they can get everything done. You can't go back and recreate an investigation. You have to get the evidence, get the information, and then make a determination. And that's people who follow us all the time now with all of these active shooters and other types of incidents have come to know that that's how police want to react at first so they can get as much information quickly.
Now, this location is a subject of frequent threats and heightened security given its connection to the incoming president. So, Alex, what do we know about security around the hotel as of late, just because of that?
Well, security, Diane, has always been tight around this hotel going back many years. It's in kind of a remote area of Las Vegas, a little bit removed from the strip, kind of you can see in the pictures of the hotel that there's a parking lot there and some lower level buildings that are around it, but it's not on the heart of the Vegas Strip. But because it is the name brand of the former and soon-to-be president again, that security is always tight. There's usually Vegas police there. There's usually other security as well. But we can see in video that in this case, looks like the Cybertruck pulled up, the smoke began, then it exploded, and a valet, just like any other valet, where you would pull up and nobody was stopping this truck from pulling up, went right up to the glass doors, just like you would at any Vegas hotel. This truck pulled up in that way.
All right, Alex Stone. And I know Eric Trump tweeted about this earlier, saying the safety and well-being of our guests and staff remain our top priority. We extend our heartfelt gratitude to the Las Vegas Fire Department and local law enforcement for their swift response and professionalism. We, of course, will continue to stay on this story. The car explosion at Trump International there in Las Vegas. We will continue following those developments as we learn more.
So, again, they're treating it like it's some terrorist threat. Now, they're trying to. This is predictive programming here. While they're saying that, them starting to treat it like a terrorist threat. They're trying to give it. They're trying to give it a name. At the end of the day, let me read some things that's going on in the chat here. Hey, Juju, what's going on? What's going on? Happy New Year to you as well. Happy New Year to you as well. Let's see here. News nobody from home that would do that. No, I didn't think it was either. I didn't think it was either. And when they said the name of the gentleman, I was like, okay, this is pretty typical now. Now we're getting pretty typical. Why did they pick New Orleans? Of course, the Super Bowl. Yes, PSYOP, inciting fear. Every time celebrities do creepy ass videos, terror happens. I believe there won't be a Super Bowl. I believe Trump is trying to start a war. So here's the thing, right? And this is my theory on this, right? As far as the Super Bowl goes, I do believe that there is going to be some type of psyop that happens at the Super Bowl. I could be wrong. But with the advertisement that we saw literally last year, the commercial of the alien ship going over the dome, that part is what I'm starting to be a little bit skeptical of. I'm starting to think that there might be some type of not alien invasion, but some type of warning, some type of huge warning of aliens is going to happen at the Super Bowl. I think that's what's going to happen. I don't think it's going to be a thing where we get a Project Blue Beam, but I definitely think it's going to be something that happens there. That's what it's starting to look like to me. That something is definitely going to happen there. How, like I said, how they plan on doing it, it remains to be seen. But that's what it's starting to look like, especially when in the Santa Baby video, you see the kid throwing the football to the alien. That's the only reason I'm saying that it looks like there could be something going on with the Super Bowl in regards to humanoid aliens. You see a kid throwing a football to an alien. Know what I'm saying? see. I believe there won't be a Trump not involved in the government with weird fog and drones. No, he's not. That's another thing too. That's very telling too, right? That something is possibly going to happen to Trump. Something is definitely imminent and possibly going to happen to Trump, allegedly, right? And you can tell by how they're actually dressing things up, how they even use the predictive programming, saying that if he did get killed, it would be some type of terrorist that did it. Some type of terrorist that assassinates him. Joe Biden is already trying to give the signal to go to war before he even gets in there. Trump's supposed to sit down in office in fucking 18 days. It's looking like they're trying to make it so he don't make it to them 18 days. If y'all notice what's going on. They trying to make it so he don't make it to them 18 days. Now, I want y'all to think about this too. 18 days from now, ooh, Lord have mercy. Now I'm thinking about the actual split. If you do the math on what 18 days from now is, you get 3 6s. So hopefully between now and the 18th, the 20th, we don't get too much weird shit. But I feel like it's about to be a lot of weird shit. Now that I just did the numerology in my head, and that just happened day one, or should I say January 2nd? Yeah. January 2nd is upon us now. We are officially 18 days away from him being in the in office. I really do feel like something is going to happen. King Day. Ironically. Your birthday on the 17th? That's what's up. That's what's up. We got to remember to do a pod on that day. Definitely do a little pod or something that day. I definitely feel like something is going to happen at the Super Bowl. And it's going to be something related to the aliens. That's just my hops. I will further back that up in just a second. But let's also get into what happened in New Orleans.
This is an ABC News special report.
Hi, I'm Jaya Macedo. We're coming on the air with breaking news in New Orleans. Local police are calling it an act of terror after a man drove a pickup truck through a crowd on Bourbon Street, killing 10 people and injuring dozens. They say the driver then came out of the truck and opened fire on officers, injuring 2 before being shot and killed. The FBI says improvised devices were also discovered in and around the scene of the attack, and those devices are now being tested. The White House also says President Biden has been briefed on the attack and has been in touch with the mayor of New Orleans. I want to bring in our senior investigative correspondent, Aaron Katersky. Aaron, what's the latest of the timeline of how this all unfolded?
This was at about 3:15 a.m. local time. There was still a crowd on Bourbon Street, a mix of tourists and local residents, when the white pickup truck turned from Canal Street onto Bourbon Street, was able to get around barriers meant to prevent a vehicle ramming attack, accelerated and very, very fast, plowed into this crowd of pedestrians, killing at least 10, injuring roughly 3 dozen. Initially, police responded to the first call for an active shooter because there were gunshots. When the suspect exited the vehicle, he shot at responding New Orleans police officers. 2 officers were struck by gunfire, taken to the hospital in stable condition. In addition, improvised devices were found at the scene. The authorities have since tested them and determined that at least one of them appeared to be a viable device. So it adds a degree of complexity to this evolving situation. Right now, police are scanning the French Quarter using drones, cameras, and other technology to see if there are any additional possible devices. The ones they have found are currently being destroyed.
And I want to bring in our Chief Justice correspondent, Pierre Thomas, because, Pierre, the big question when you think about a day like New Year's Eve, when you know Bourbon Street is going to be heaving full of people, is how does something like this happen? How does a truck even get close enough for this attack to unfold?
Well, the police superintendent said that the suspect was able to get around the barriers. Now, that is a flaw, obviously, that you cannot have in a situation like this. And, Diane, to emphasize what's going on here, the FBI has taken the lead in this case. They have now investigating this as an act of terrorism. That's official statement from the FBI. They are very concerned about the circumstances around this, the fact that the suspect had a weapon, the fact that they found at least one viable explosive device, that this was clearly an intentional act. I'm being told by multiple sources that they're looking at the possibility that the suspect may have come into the country recently. Again, very fluid situation. They're also looking at the potential for any kind of ties to ISIS. Again, it's very early in the investigation. Nothing has been finalized, but this is being treated as the highest priority right now. The Attorney General has been briefed. President of the United States has been briefed about this. The FBI director directly involved in this case as well. Again, so many people injured, at least 10 dead and 20 plus people injured. Again, law enforcement officials have been on a high alert really since October of 2023 after the attack, horrific attack in Israel. And the FBI director and his counterparts have been warning month after month that we are in a heightened environment where virtually every sector of terrorism was on fire, the potential for acts of violence. So this now codifies what we've seen from earlier this summer with two attacks on former President Trump, then candidate Trump. Now we have a situation where the FBI is looking at this as a potential act of terrorism. Resources are being flooded into that area. They are now trying to do a search, a background check on the gun. Where was the gun purchased? Any information they can find out about the vehicle. They're searching surveillance cameras to see if they can get a timeline in terms of how the vehicle moved through that particular area and through that particular crowd. But again, cold-blooded act of murder, law enforcement treating this with the highest priority.
And I want to bring in the former New Orleans Mayor, Mark Morial, for more. Mayor, thanks for joining us. What's your reaction,
Thank you. Good morning.
first of all, just to hearing that this happened the way that it happened on New Year's Eve in Bourbon Street?
I'm sickened by the entire incident. I am in great pain for the families of those who've lost people, for the two law enforcement officers who've been injured. What would compel someone to carry out such an act? And clearly, it seems as though he planned even more if they found explosive devices or potential explosive devices in his vehicle. This is an area of great festivity. The French Quarter is about a little bit less than 1 square mile. Bourbon Street, of course, the main street of bars and lounges and places where people go. And New Year's Eve and New Year's morning are perhaps one of the best places to be on New Year's Eve and New Year's morning. I think for the city and for the leadership of the city, the double challenge is to navigate this while.
King Ozma, answer me a question real quick. Is that when they do Mardi Gras? Correct me if I'm wrong. Is that not the way they do Mardi Gras at? Where that little spot is right there. Don't they do Mardi Gras around there? They did just have a media shower. Yeah, absolutely right. They did just have a media shower. And a lady never tells you her age. Lady never tells you her age, but yes, happy early birthday to you. Happy early birthday to you. You say you turning 21. You turning 21? Now how did I know that? About the Mardi Gras, right? So I'm like, all right, Mardi Gras is in that area. Okay. Cook for a second. So, Mardi Gras. Bingo. Bingo. Okay, so Mardi Gras, which translates to Fat Tuesday in French, has origins that can be traced back thousands of years to pagan spring and fertility celebrations in Rome. The tradition passed through medieval Europe in the French House of the Bourbons and eventually arrived in North America in the late 17th century. What am I getting at? What am I getting at? We're going to watch a video on that in just a second. But early on, the reason why I asked was this in Mardi Gras. Look at this shit right here, right? So you heard the definition of Mardi Gras, and the origin of Mardi Gras happened where, right? Pagan Springs back in ancient Rome, right? Who was just in the Vatican opening up portals? Pope opens holy door, spiritual portal for Christmas rituals. Pope Francis opened the first of 5 holy doors, signifying spiritual portals. This is on the news. This is on the news. Okay? That was on the news. He said that. The news. So I'm like, wait a minute. He did that literally where they do Mardi Gras in New Orleans? Do you not see the spiritual voodoo that is happening? And you can literally trace the origin of Mardi Gras back to ancient pagan times in Rome. Now, we don't even need to watch the rest of the video, right? Because there's 2 things that I want to make very, very clear here. There's 2 things I want to make very, very clear. We ain't gonna be here that long tonight, because I have some good news for y'all, right? I am going to be off work between Friday into the 14th. So that means y'all gonna start hearing pods during the daytime. It's not gonna be me announcing shit for the nighttime. I'm gonna be in this bitch early evening, right? I'm talking about like 5, 6 o'clock. Y'all gonna start seeing this pod. It's gonna be early like that. Okay, we're gonna start doing the early 4 or 5 hour joints long. Okay, we're gonna have that all next week. I'm talking about all next week. We going the fuck in. Everything that pops up, we gonna be able to catch it. Okay, we gonna be home and able to catch it. I made sure I said, I need to be home this next couple of weeks. I just had a feeling I need to be home these next weeks. So I said, you know what? I'm just gonna put in my vacay time to just be home and make sure so I'm going to work tomorrow. After that, I'm going to be off between then and the 14th. So I'm going to be making sure I get you guys the news that needs to be gotten, because again, it's about that time, y'all. It's about that time. Okay? We need to be spiritually aligned and very aware, and our third eyes open. Yeah, Mardi Gras is, again, not too long after the Super Bowl. Everything lines up. This is all lining up right now. This is all lining up right now. I'm trying to tell you, yo. Yeah, see, it's 4 or 5 a.m. Where are you at right now, Simple Town? Where you at right now? It's 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. God damn. Why is it so late? Why is it so late? Where you at? It's 12:26. It's 12:26 on the East Coast. It's about 11:26 here. It's about 11:26 here. I didn't realize we've been here an hour already. I don't know. I take that damn long and it's starting soon. God damn. I'm sorry. Paris, France, time zone is a day ahead of us. Oh, that's right. You are in Paris. That's right. You are in Paris. My bad. I would like to go to France one day. Oh, y'all had a lit New Year's event. You had a real lit New Year's event. I seen. Yeah, Paris, France had a good New Year. Yeah, see, this is what I'm saying. I would have been doing the damn pod last night. You would have been telling me Happy New Year at 9 o'clock. you would have been telling us Happy New Year already at 9 o'clock. That's what I'm saying. It wouldn't have made sense me doing it. You would have been telling us early. You would have been telling us super early that, hey, Happy New Year. It's 9 o'clock. It's 8 p.m. We still got 4 hours here. But shout out to Paris, yo. Shout out to Paris. Shout out to Paris. There was somebody that was up in here. I hope he gets up in here again. There was somebody that was up in here from the Pacific Islands. I can't remember what he said. It was the Pacific Islands, but I forgot where he said it was. Not Honolulu. Something tiki. I can't remember the name of it now. Forgive me. I can't remember where it was now, but it was somewhere beautiful. Okay, so while we're on the subject of the Pope opening portals, the truth is, has dropped something for us, explaining a little bit more deeper about what's going on. It's wild, man.
Hey guys, I hope all is well. This is a short
secrets that have been kept in culture and
do it.
According to Catholics, the Vatican is one of the most sacred places in Christendom, considered to be one of the most holiest places in the world, full of rich Christian culture and home to the headquarters of the Roman Catholic Church. With all that being said, the Vatican isn't just a holy place for Catholics, but a city full of religious secrets that have been kept from the world for generations. Today, we will be looking into some of these secrets to uncover the truth behind the Vatican. Hey guys, I hope all is well. Thank you for joining me for this Patreon exclusive. In today's episode, we will be talking about the secrets of the Vatican. Let's get right into it. Recently, the Vatican was all over headlines after it was revealed that the Pope was going to be performing a sacred ritual on Christmas Eve. It was being reported all over social media that the Pope was going to be opening up 5 portals to the spiritual world. While this was an exaggerated example of what actually happened, this isn't completely false. It was reported by the media that the Pope was going to be opening one of 5 sacred holy doors on Christmas Eve and would continue opening the remaining 4 doors over the course of the week. On December 24th, Pope Francis used a ceremonial hammer to open a sealed door at the Vatican to mark the beginning of the Jubilee, or a holy year. Jubilee years are held at least every quarter century, with the last regular one being in 2000. The Jubilee begins with the ceremonial opening of the sealed doors, signifying a pathway to forgiveness, a tradition dating back to 1425. Traditionally, the Pope opens the doors at Rome's 4 basilicas, starting with one at the Vatican on Christmas Eve and continuing over several days. The point of the ritual is to symbolize the transition from sin to grace. It is believed that once you enter the holy doors, you are in the presence of God, in the same room as him. This holy door remains open for at least 1 year. This is supposed to be a spiritual ritual connected to the redemption of one's soul. While this all sounds great and might sound like it's truly rooted in Christianity, I find it hard to believe that this is the true purpose of this ritual. And that's because of everything I know about the Roman Catholic Church and the Vatican. For example, where do you think the word Vatican comes from? It's not in the Bible, and it isn't connected to Christianity in any way. In fact, the word Vatican comes from a pagan god called Vatica or Vatikim, who was worshipped as the god of childbirth and the underworld. This god was closely associated with serpents. Now ask yourself, why would a holy city that's supposed to be deeply connected to historical Christianity be named after a pagan god? Well, it's all because of Rome. Now before I continue, I want to say this video is not an attack on the Catholic Church or any Catholics. Most people who follow the Catholic Church...
And you ain't got to say that. You ain't got to say that at all. Because here's the thing, right? The main thing is, we watched Angels and Demons together, right? So y'all know what I'm getting at. We watched Angels and Demons and literally saw where, or should I say, where was the movie even taking place at? The Vatican, right? Y'all think that was by coincidence that Angels and Demons was literally at the Vatican? That too, Fury B. That too. The people ain't ready to accept that part right there, that Christianity is a false religion that was used to weaponize and control the masses of America. People ain't ready to accept that part. People are not ready to accept that part right there. And further that, and he's going to get into it in a second, based upon them using it as a weapon, you have people, of course, in fear, or should I say, you have people in It's crazy how they call it mass, because it's literally mass hysteria and mass fear when you think about it. But they have people in sort of a mass fear of, I guess you could say, a false prophet, a false idol. You have people in fear of a false idol. He's going to get into a very dark painting in a second. I'll just say that. You who? Okay. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Well, I guess some people could see. That's the thing, right? I don't necessarily believe in one. Well, I do believe in. I believe in God, but at the same time, I know who are the gods. I just say it like that. So I definitely get that. Hey, Medusa, you're right. Aliens is my god. You're absolutely right. You absolutely fucking right saying that. You are absolutely right. Story of Jesus was stolen from the House of Horrors. Stolen from the Story of Horrors. Exactly. The whole thing is pretty much used to create mass fear and use religion as a weapon. Okay? But it's just ironic that Angels and Demons was literally based in the Vatican. Now, here's a cool thing, right? Fury B, the game I was playing, Indiana Jones, where was it at? The Vatican. And guess who's Mr. Search for It All? And my next mission was about looking up the story of, giants? It was something about the story of giants. The Bible is like a Shakespeare novel, yeah. But see, yeah, Indiana Jones. The crazy part is Indiana Jones, the game is based in the Vatican. I was like, oh shit. So I'm gonna be walking around the Vatican uncovering its secrets? No wonder they didn't want this game publicized. No wonder this game ain't talked about too much. It's probably literal secrets in this mouth. I'm trying to tell you. There's probably literal secrets in there.
Church are followers of Jesus Christ and are part of the church for the same reasons as Christians. My parents were Catholic for most of my life. They only converted to Christianity about 10 years ago when I showed them the truth about the Roman Catholic Church. The people who follow the church are only trying to get closer to God like Christians. But those in positions of power like the Pope know the truth about the Roman Catholic Church and are taking advantage of millions of people who choose to follow them. Like I have said multiple times on this channel, the Roman Catholic Church is simply the continuation of the pagan Roman Empire. The reason the Roman Catholic Church was created was because the Romans knew the fall of paganism was coming after they murdered Yeshua. After they crucified Yeshua, they thought his movement was going to fall along with him. But the opposite happened after Yeshua resurrected and appeared to his loyal followers. This is why the Vatican is full of secrets, because it hides the church's connections to pagan Rome. This became even more clear with the Templars, who led to the creation of many of the modern secret societies like the Freemasons. The Templars were a Roman Catholic army that claimed to be the defenders of Christ. In reality, they were channeling Baphomet and performing pagan occult sex rituals. They practiced sex magic and alchemy, and it's the reason so many other secret societies operate this way today. To those who weren't initiated, they believed the Templars were the army of God. For those who were initiated, they knew the Templars were occultists who practiced the same rituals the Roman pagans did. This is all connected to
Now, let me back it up real quick, right?
Templars were the army of God. For those who were initiated, they knew the Templars were occultists who...
You see these symbols, right? So a certain somebody the Templars are scary. So a certain somebody did an album cover and got in trouble for it, and they had to change their album cover to something different. Wouldn't you know? You remember when a certain somebody had to take their album cover down? That was why he had to take it down. You see that symbol over there? See the ring? See the white gloves? he was pretty much celebrating his new degree. I don't know which degree he actually rose to, but he was pretty much celebrating his new degree. But literally had the Knights of Templar on the album cover. Now, they later made him change that album cover. They later made him change that album cover. I'm not sure, was it Mastermind 2? Oh, no, Port of Miami. The Port of Miami 2 album. They made him change it. He had no choice. They wasn't having that. They was not having that. They was not having you looking like this on no album cover. Excuse me. Yes, he always does too much. And that was one of those things where he did a little too much. You notice Rick Ross ain't been too big of a star since he did this bullshit, huh? His name is kind of real quiet. Oh, they shut him down. They shut him down more ways than one. Because like I said, the album not only didn't go anywhere, you barely even heard a record off that album. They made sure that you didn't even know about that album. Because he did this dumb shit. It was like, why would you do this? That's not hiding in plain sight. That's creating confusion and questions. That's not hiding in plain sight. And the look and image went against his entire brand. So then you also raise the question of, okay, what is he wearing? But you literally see what he's wearing. Let us continue.
Practice the same rituals the Roman pagans did. This is all connected to the same source, man trying to be God. Now that we have established a clear connection between ancient pagan Rome and the Roman Catholic Church, let's get into some of their secrets. First, let's talk a bit about the ritual of the holy doors the Pope did. This so-called holy door ritual comes directly from the pagan occult ritual called the spiritual door ritual. During this ritual, occultists would draw occult symbols and chant. They would chant ritualistically to attempt to summon the deity they were trying to be in the same room as. They would then use ritual tools to open the spiritual door that would put them in the same room as the deity they're trying to reach, just like the Vatican did with this holy door ritual. The members of the
So again, you are literally hearing the same exact PSYOP ruling, or should I say rules, the same PSYOP rules are also applied to a truck just running into a town that does Mardi Gras, that is known from the origin of pagan rituals. From where? Rome. They literally practiced a voodoo psyop spiritual ritual right in front of us. That is literally what we got with that truck running in there. And then they try to put the bullshit, and I'm going to get to that in a second. Because I get sick and tired of hearing ISIS. I already know Osama bin Laden was fake. Because then you literally have the president, Barack Obama, with the names coinciding with each other. I'm like, yo, stop trying to smack me in my face and telling me you ain't, you know what I'm saying? I don't feel it. Stop trying to smack me and tell me I don't feel it. That's literally what I feel. That's literally what it is to me. You trying to smack me and tell me I don't feel it. With that whole Osama bin Laden bullshit in 9/11, in C4 ball. I don't even want to get into it. But anyway, PSYOPs. I have not believed you niggas since then with this ISIS bullshit. Not believed you niggas not one time with this. Not one time. Ever since I saw that fidgety ass VHS camera looking video of him being a terrorist, I knew it. You tried this same bullshit with the moon. Stop trying to piss and tell me it's raining. Y'all keep trying to run the same bullshit game on me. I am not believing it year after year that Al-Qaeda and ISIS are behind all this shit that y'all know is going to happen ahead of time. That's the part y'all don't get. All this shit is pre-planned to happen ahead of time. So why the hell you keep trying to tell me it's another person doing it? If you know what's going to happen, you tell us what's going to happen before it happens. Stop telling me it's Al-Qaeda and ISIS. I don't believe you no more. You cannot keep doing this to me. I refuse to believe that bullshit lie. It's ISIS. Every time I see it's ISIS, it's ISIS. And the goddamn ISIS symbol is a swastika. It's a fucking swastika. That's the part that pisses me off. Do you know the original symbol of fucking ISIS? We just seen it. It was just right in front of us. Notice what the symbol of ISIS originally is. God damn it. Stop telling me it's ISIS. Look what ISIS is. Look what the original meaning of the goddamn symbol is. You can't tell me this shit ain't linked. You cannot tell me this shit ain't linked. It's a fucking Ankh. The name ISIS comes from the Greek word for throne. Came to be seen as ISIS emblem at least as early as the New Kingdom, though it existed long before. It was often made of red jasper and likened to Isis's blood. Used as a funerary amulet, it was said to confer her protection on the wearer. Now, supposedly these symbols, or one of these symbols, was on the back of the Jeep. They still don't want to tell us which one it is, because all it is, oh, one of these symbols could be it. They said it's one of their symbols. No, it ain't. No, it ain't. Ah, someone said it. Queen Isis, the Egyptian queen. And yes, Simple Town Radio, the Illuminati card game. You literally seen all these things before. That's why I keep saying, y'all keep trying to piss on me and tell me it's raining. Y'all know this shit about to happen before it happens. Stop telling me it's Al-Qaeda and ISIS. I'm going to get to the... Wait till this video done. I got something for your asses.
Church was singing while the Pope opened the holy door using a ritual hammer. He then walked into the room and claimed to be in the same room as God. Millions of people watched the Pope perform a spiritual door ritual and believe it's connected to Christianity when it's a known pagan ritual. The next thing we're going to talk about is the Vatican's secret archives, specifically one book that is kept in it. The book is called the Red Dragon Grimoire, or the Grand Grimoire, and it's a book of black magic that includes instructions for summoning demons and making pacts with them. The book contains spells for summoning Lucifer, necromancy, winning the lottery, speaking with spirits, and more. The book's origins are uncertain, with some dating it to 1421, 1521, or 1522. The introductory chapter was written by Antonio Benedita, who claimed to have gathered his information from the writings of King Solomon. King Solomon is an important figure in the occult world, known for building the Temple of Solomon in the Bible. The Freemasons' entire religion is created off the principles of King Solomon and his temple, as the Masons see themselves as the builders of the inner temple. I can honestly make an entire video about the Red Dragon Grimoire, so if you guys want to see that, comment Red Dragon Grimoire below. Now think about this. Why in the world does the Vatican have a grimoire in their archives that could be used to summon demons and control them? This lets you know exactly what those at the Vatican are up to. The next thing we need to talk about is the Paul VI Audience Hall, or otherwise known as...
Puts another curve on the name Angels and Demons, right? Now, reason why I paused it here, right, is because as he's breaking this down, what do y'all see? Very fierce, what's going on? Real quick, y'all, in the chat. What y'all see right here on the screen? Tell me, real quick. What do y'all see here on the screen? What's that look like to y'all? Where are we at? We're at the Vatican. Thank you, Medusa. Fury B says an alien. Medusa says a snake face. Simpletown Radio, a snake, a serpent, reptilian. You see the face of a serpent. Why is that at the Vatican?
The Hall of Pontifical Audiences. This audience hall was built in 1971 and it holds exactly 6,300 people. Now the reason I'm talking about this hall...
How many? 6,300 people. Why the random number of 6,300? Why that random number?
Is due to the way it looks. If you look at it closely, it clearly resembles a massive serpent. You can see the ceilings look like serpent scales, while the windows look like eyes, and on the stage, you see two pillars that look like serpent fangs. This is clearly a serpent, which is not surprising when you remember the word Vatican comes from the pagan god Vatica, who was depicted as a serpent. Now, it's not a coincidence that the hall holds 6,300 people, and it's called the Paul VI Audience Hall. If you invert 6-3, you get 36, or 3 sixes, which we know is the mark of the beast who is also represented as the serpent. Now ask yourself, why in the world would the Vatican have had this hall constructed in their city? Inside of this serpent hall, they also have a sculpture called the Resurrection, which is a sculpture depicting Christ rising from a nuclear explosion amongst the twisted knots of dismembered hands and skulls. Ask yourself, why in the world will they have a sculpture of Jesus Christ that looks like this inside of a hall that is clearly a serpent? A statue of Jesus that looks like he has been defeated inside of a room that glorifies the serpent. This statue is supposed to represent Jesus rising and resurrecting, but to me it looks nothing like that. The Vatican is telling us the truth in plain sight. It is also rumored that the Philosopher's Stone, or the instructions on how to make it, are held in the Vatican archives. The Philosopher's Stone is a substance that could be used to make the elixir of life, and it is created through the process of physical alchemy. The Philosopher's Stone was claimed to be used to turn base metals into noble metals like lead to gold, or to turn a man into a god, as whoever drank the elixir of life created with the Philosopher's Stone would become immortal.
Now, real quick before they continue, it is to note, and King Ozma, thank you for pointing this out to me as well. Yes, I do remember that movie Omen. I do remember that movie Omen as well. I went to the Vatican in 2008. Was so confused and freaked out about that. Yeah, it. So, so you seen it firsthand. You seen it firsthand, looking at the ceiling, like, yo, why do they even got this looking like this, right? So, interesting enough, right? Like I said, King Osmond, thank you for even bringing this to my attention. While we were on the topic of serpents and snakes, right? Remember the fact that we are literally talking about a pagan ritual psyop done right on us, okay? A pagan spiritual ritual psyop was done on. You have to think about this, right? The date was 1-1. I'm going to say it again. The date was 1-1. So that means you convert that to the number 11. And you know how the number 11 is spiritual to the Illuminati. Matter of fact, real quick. Ironically, right? Ironically, right? The number 11. Look at this. The number 11, master number 11 in original Freemasonry. 11 is a mystical number and was the final series of steps in the winding stairs of the fellow craft. Like the staircase in King Solomon's temple, the 11 referred to the 11 apostles after the defection of Judas. So again, this happened on 1-1. 11. Captain William Morgan, yes. Yes, ironically, 9/11. So again, Freemasonry, PSYOP. Now, the funny thing about that, not funny, but ironically, I believe at what we read, right? It was Yorktown, I think. It was York where they came and got him, right? And where did they hit in 9/11? Isn't that something for you to be? They literally had a war with him before they came and got him and took him from York. And then we get 9/11 and where? Funny how that comes full circle. 72 years. Ooh. 72 years. 6/12. Ain't that something? Look at the numerology in that. You span the block. They spin the block 72 years later on 6/12. 6 times 12. They spin the block 72 years later on York. For Captain Morgan, that's a crazy one right there. So again, the number 11, very symbolic to Freemasonry, and that was literally yesterday, 1-1. Okay? You don't have to wait for January 11th because that's going to be something whole different. But the number 1-1 was in yesterday's numerology, 11. Okay? Very important date to them. And if we're talking about the year 2025, again, thank you, King Osmond, for sharing this. The Chinese Zodiac 2025 is the year of the snake. 2025 is the year, literally, of the snake. The year of the reptilians. Fasten your seatbelts, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be bumpy. They are in celebration of the reptilians, literally this year. It's going to be a wild year. As I told y'all before, the Santa Baby video was literally letting you know it's about to be a shitstorm of events this year. Starting with the Vatican opening of 5 portals by the Pope.
It is believed that Albertus Magnus, who was a theological advisor to the Pope, was able to create the Philosopher's Stone. He then gave this magical substance to the Pope, and it eventually ended up in the Vatican. What's interesting is that the Catholic Church eventually made Albertus a Catholic saint 250 years after his death. Albertus was a full-on alchemist and occultist who practiced and believed in things that went completely against Christianity. So why is he being worshipped by the Catholic Church? Some people believe that the reason the Vatican is full of gold is because they have the Philosopher's Stone. The next thing we need to talk about is the Vatican hiding the Holy Grail in their archives. For many years, people have believed the Vatican has been holding and hiding the Holy Grail. While they claim to possess the Holy Chalice of Encina and declare it to be the Holy Grail, that's not the real Holy Grail. It was rumored that the Templars actually had the Holy Grail in their possession, and it ended up in the possession of the Vatican. The Vatican is keeping this important religious relic hidden from the world to further disconnect people from Christ. Something else the Vatican keeps tucked in their archives is the Sumerian tablets. The Sumerian tablets describe a pantheon of gods, including An, Enlil, Nanhursag, and Aniki, which is a key characteristic of pagan religions. What is a church that is dedicated to the Abrahamic God doing with the Sumerian tablets that have knowledge of pagan gods? Again, this shows the Vatican is still very much connected to their pagan roots. Like I said earlier, this video is not an attack on the Catholics or their beliefs. I just want to bring up the facts about why the Catholic Church was created and why the Vatican has so many secrets.
Again, I'm going to keep saying this. Puts a whole different spin on the name of the movie being Angels and Demons, based in the Vatican.
Everyone who follows Yeshua as the only way to the Father is my brother, no matter the religion. But it's important we educate ourselves on the truth before blindly following what we're told out of ignorance. We need to know the truth to make the right decision. Well, I'm gonna end this one.
Bruh.
That glorify.
This right here, again, is all you need to see. Because they say a picture's worth 1,000 words, right? They say the picture worth 1,000 words. You literally looking at hell in front of you, inside the Vatican. A depiction of hell inside the Vatican. It's supposed to be a statue, like he said, of Jesus rising from the death, right? But it literally looks like he's being defeated in hell. The painting that the mural that they have in there literally looks like he's being defeated in hell. Yeah, the creator, the Japanese creator of Metal Gear Solid definitely has been whistleblowing a lot in the video game. All video games have been whistleblowing. One of the biggest whistleblowers recently been Grand Theft Auto. Grand Theft Auto 5 had a shitstorm of them, including the aliens. Shit, their most recent event was the popping up of different alien ships. Isn't that something? They literally had an in-game event to where you had to track down different alien ships that were popping up all over the map. And by the end of, I want to say, was it the 31st of Halloween, you would have about 28 or 29 different alien ships all posted in the sky at the same time. It looked like a fucking nightmare with the thunder and everything happening. You saw 28 alien ships just in the sky. That's already see, you know why 6 is going to be wild? Because it's in Florida. That tells you enough. 6 is based in Florida. I said this is going to be hilarious because every time I hear something crazy, I say it's Florida. Florida did it. Every time I hear about a wild chase and a shootout happened after it, every time I hear about somebody doing something crazy on the news, I say it's Florida, ain't it? Most of the time it's Florida. It's some crazy motherfuckers in Florida. Literally. There is some crazy motherfuckers in Florida. Yes, they took shots at the healthcare system in the trailer. Isn't that something? Already, whistleblowing. That game is going to be full of different... Yes, Luigi. Look at what the gentleman was locked up for, the Joker. In the game. I'm telling you, man. It's going to be some shit 2025. With the Pope opening these 5 portals. It's going to be some shit. We about to see some shit.